Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're investigating a viral fitness claim that has absolutely been breaking the internet. We're talking about the dream scenario here, getting completely shredded by actually eating way more food. So let's dive right in. We're going to take a super close look at a massive physical transformation that sparked a ton of debate in the fitness community. To do this, we'll be using the physiological analysis of fitness commentator Greg Doucette to really evaluate the evidence. Our goal? To break down the actual biological feasibility of these spectacular muscle gains and figure out what it truly takes to achieve this level of physical change. And that brings us to the central biological mystery we're investigating today. Can a human being literally gain up to 20 pounds of muscle and lose 20 pounds of fat in just 4 months, all without changing their overall body weight? I know, it sounds a bit like magic, right? Well, that is exactly the claim at the heart of our explainer today. We're going to put this specific timeline and these specific physical changes right under the microscope to see if they actually align with the physiological rules of the human body. Just look at this dramatic contrast. The core claim here is that on the left, you have her before state. She was eating a highly restrictive 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day, which is a diet she says left her feeling constantly tired, stressed, and just puffy. But then on the right, you have the after. She states that by bumping her intake way up to 2,500 calories a day, she completely transformed her physique, stepping out looking practically stage-ready with shredded, popping abs and quads. But honestly, here is the number that makes this entire case so incredibly fascinating: 0. As in 0 pounds lost on the scale. The influencer specifically clarified to her audience that there was absolutely no weight loss happening between those before and after clips. She says she weighs the exact same in both. And let me tell you, this single data point completely shifts the biological reality of what we're actually looking at. To really grasp why that 0 is so crucial, we have to talk about this concept, body recomposition. It's essentially the process of losing body fat and adding muscle mass at the exact same time, while your overall body weight stays totally stable. Because she claims her weight didn't fluctuate by a single pound while completely changing her visual body fat percentage, body recomposition is quite literally the only biological mechanism that could explain her results. So, let's get into the math of body recomposition and evaluate the physiological evidence. Let's walk through the math Doucette lays out for us. Say we assume a starting weight of 130 pounds. Looking at her visual transformation, Doucette estimates her body fat dropped by roughly 10 to 15%. Now, 10 to 15% of 130 pounds, that's about 13 to 20 pounds of pure fat lost. And remember, because she claims the scale never changed, she didn't just lose that fat, her body had to simultaneously build 13 to 20 pounds of pure muscle to replace it. It's a direct pound-for-pound swap. Which leads right into Doucette's deep skepticism. He's really questioning the feasibility of such flawless nutrient partitioning. Think about it. For a female eating 2,500 calories a day to maintain her exact weight while swapping 20 pounds of fat for muscle, her body would have to perfectly redirect every single excess calorie straight into muscle tissue synthesis, not a single dropping stored as fat. Doucette characterizes this level of biological efficiency as highly, highly improbable for a natural athlete. All right, next up, evaluating timeline feasibility, 4 months versus 3 years. Let's take a look at this timeline, because it's a huge piece of the puzzle. The influencer originally implied this massive transformation took roughly 3 to 4 months, but Doucette pushes back hard on this. He argues that replacing 15 to 20 pounds of fat with natural muscle on a female frame isn't a matter of months, it's a matter of years. He points out that unless you're a total beginner experiencing those initial newbie gains, a transformation of this extreme magnitude naturally would realistically take upwards of 36 months. We're talking 3 full years of relentless training and dieting. Moving on to hormones and caloric reality and the danger of extreme deficits. So the influencer states she got this shredded while eating 2,500 calories a day. Doucette explains that for a female to get stage-ready lean on that much food, an absolutely extreme amount of physical output is biologically required. We aren't talking light jogs here. We're talking heavy daily weightlifting coupled with well over an hour of intense cardio every single day. Unless you're burning massive amounts of energy through hours of consistent exercise, 2,500 calories is simply an incredibly high amount of food to get shredded on. Now, here's a crucial point regarding the before picture. The influencer implied that eating too little, around 1,200 calories, caused her body to freak out, get puffy, and hold on to fat because of stress. Doucette firmly rebutes this entirely.
He states that the idea of starvation mode, slowing your metabolism so much that it keeps you fat while in a severe calorie deficit, is basically a myth. According to the laws of thermodynamics, if you are genuinely eating only 1,200 calories, you are going to lose weight, regardless of how stressed you are.
However, Doucette definitely warns about a very real biological chain reaction when females do sustain extreme caloric deficits. If someone is doing hours of cardio to burn, say, 4,000 calories while only eating 2,500, they're in a massive 1,500 calorie hole. This extreme leanness inevitably leads to hormonal disruption, specifically the loss of the menstrual cycle. And once those hormones stop functioning right, it triggers a decrease in bone mineral density, leading to severe long-term risks like osteoporosis down the road.
And this illustrates that danger perfectly. Doucette uses an analogy he taught in high school 30 years ago: banking your bone density. Basically, as a woman, you deposit bone density like money in a savings account until it peaks around age 35. After 35, you start losing roughly 1% of it every single year. So, if you ruin your hormones and fail to fill that bank up to 100% by age 35, you simply won't have enough left by the time you're 85, significantly bumping up your risk for devastating hip fractures. Which brings us to the enhanced hypothesis. If natural timelines contradict the claims, what alternate explanations does Doucette suggest we consider? First up, Doucette brings up GLP-1 agonists. These are medications, think Ozempic or tirzepatide, that powerfully control appetite and cravings. Now, they don't actually build muscle themselves, but Doucette theorizes that if someone were taking them, it would make adhering to the strict, highly specific caloric balance required for stage-ready physique significantly easier, without suffering from overwhelming hunger all day long. But to explain the actual 20-pound simultaneous muscle gain and fat loss in just 16 weeks, Doucette hypothesizes the potential use of performance-enhancing substances. Alongside GLP-1s for diet adherence, he mentions Anavar, and notably, trenbolone. Trenbolone is a powerful compound notorious in the bodybuilding world, specifically for its ability to aggressively build and preserve muscle tissue even when the body is in a severe caloric deficit. It essentially mimics that perfect, flawless physiological nutrient partitioning we talked about earlier. Now, to be totally fair, we absolutely have to look at the influencer's direct response to these types of accusations. She firmly and categorically denies using any performance-enhancing drugs, GLP-1s, SARMs, you name it. In fact, she explicitly claims she is 100% natural, even going so far as to tell her followers, "I don't even take creatine." She maintains that her entire transformation is solely the result of proper fueling and hard training over time. So bringing this all back to you, we've laid out the physiological evidence here. On one hand, we've got Doucette's biological math, a 20-pound pound-for-pound body recomposition that dramatically defies natural timelines and caloric realities. But on the other, we have a viral influencer standing firmly by a 100% natural 2,500-calorie transformation. The big question to take away from this is, are we looking at a physiological miracle driven by 1 in a million genetics, or is this a highly misleading piece of modern fitness marketing? What do the numbers tell you?